I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're exploring a powerful book. It is called Discovering Life's Purpose. It's written by a wonderful author. His name is Del Smith. This thought-provoking book takes readers on a journey from atheism to fervent Christianity, challenging conventional religious teachings with fact-based arguments. Del shares his personal quest to find life's purpose, offering fresh insights for anyone seeking deeper meaning and fulfillment in their faith. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Del, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Wonderful to have the opportunity, Logan.
Wonderful to have you on the show. This is a very insightful book. What started you on your quest to discover life's purpose?
Basically, as a early 20s, I call them flaming atheist, or maybe fervent. But anyway, I had a scientific training, engineering, and as you know, engineers and scientists are trained not to accept anything based on faith or belief or intuition. Right. It's got to be proof. It's got to be proof. So that made me very susceptible to atheist arguments. But I quickly realized, probably by mid-20s, that those arguments weren't any good. They didn't make sense. And so now I'm lost. So now what do I do? Right. And so I began, fortunately, I met my late wife and we got married, and she was a cradle Catholic. So that was a big help. And yeah, right. It can be very powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In any case, I started this journey, and it basically involved getting to know her faith. Then I became what you might call a somewhat lackadaisical Catholic. Like I accepted, but I really didn't pay much attention to it. And then I retired from IBM, where I worked for 30 years. That gave me a little bit more time. Yep. And so that made me think of doing a little research. And so I researched, psychology, not psychology. Psychology and pursued spiritualism and a number of things. I read a lot of atheist books. I read a lot of apologist books, but the thing that made it happen was the solid formal reasoning that philosophy offers. Yeah, I did mix up that word. It was philosophy that I studied, not psychology.
Right. So you began to be faithful to Christianity with the help of your wife, who kind of showed you the light. But you were at first a little bit of a reluctant Christian, ashes and palm Catholic, I think we call them.
That's exactly right. Yeah, CNE we call them, Christmas and Easter.
Exactly. You're not in full throttle, but
well, it sure wasn't. Far from it. And
so
that
what made you go from lackadaisical Catholic to full throttle Christian?
Well, the main thing was realizing that Catholic teaching was not just a position. It was substantial, and an unsubstantiated one, by the way. There's I never found any substantiation for Christian teaching. Right. But what I did find from my study of psychology, philosophy, is that formal reasoning establishes knowledge as good as any knowledge we have about what it pursues. And so I pursued, do we have a creator? Does the creator love us? Does the creator want us to be with him? And does the creator offer us eternal life? And when I got yeses out of my reasoning on those 4 questions, I mean, who can ignore that? So that really set me on my research.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your book. What will the folks at home find within the pages when they crack the covers?
They'll find, first of all, of course, they'll find my journey, which I think might appeal because I think, like, I'm a born skeptic. And I think many people these days are skeptical, and many of them have rejected religion. And so my path through that, they may be able to identify with, and they may be able to pick up some thinking that helps them more fully get involved. Okay. But specifically, what they will get is three things. They'll get a very simple introduction to reasoning, and
Mm-hmm.
and an example of it using the reasoning I just discussed.
Yeah.
They'll find what's called a book within the book, which is called the sayings of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that is so necessary is that, as anybody that reads the Bible knows, Jesus' messages are scattered across any one gospel, but also across all four. So how do you put them all together? So the book within the book, the sayings of Jesus, organizes them into 50 plus topics. So everything he said, whether it was Mark or whether it was at the end of Matthew or wherever he said it,
Yeah.
it's now on one page. And
Great.
I found that extremely powerful because it enriched what he said one time, enriched what he said another time, or clarified or expanded on. And so when you put them all together, you get a pretty solid. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is kind of the trace I took, which I call experiential learning. And so the book takes you through my path on experiential learning, which is nothing more than learning from your own experience,
Right.
experiential learning. And
Yeah.
so it disciplines you to observe more closely and then draw some conclusions from those observations, and then assemble those conclusions into a coherent answer. So three things.
Yeah, wonderful. So basically, you're giving people the tools to make the kind of discoveries that you made, which are great. I've always liked the analogy of somebody walking down the beach and finding a pocket watch and looking
Yeah,
at it and seeing how precise it is and realizing that there had to be a creator. And the same thing's true when you look around the world. There has to be a creator. This
that's
didn't
right.
happen from atoms colliding into each other, just like that watch didn't happen from waves hitting the shore, right?
Exactly. That's a very good analogy. I like it too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically what it says is common sense
Mm.
says that we have a creator. Now, if common sense says we have one,
Yeah.
well, he must have had a reason. Like, he
Right.
probably just wasn't playing like crokinole or something. He had a reason for us.
Yep.
And that reason is our purpose.
Yep.
And our creator's purpose trumps anything that we might come up with on our own. And many people, feel that okay, I got life's purpose. It's okay with me. I'm comfortable with the way I
Mhm.
see things. But my question to them was, well, what if there's more to it? Like, you really can't make it up. You
Mm.
can't make up anything that is not what your creator created you to become.
Exactly. And you're going to expand upon this a little bit with an upcoming video blog, I understand, that'll be on YouTube and perhaps other platforms, The Meaning of Life. Tell us a little bit about that and its connection to the book.
Well, surely I do. I will. By the way, it is up. It
Okay,
is up
great.
on the website, and it's the website is Del H. Smith. So my
Okay.
middle initial 9 letters.com.
All right.
And so the reason I created the video is that I found many people, especially younger people, relate much more to visual than they do to reading.
Yeah.
They're so into the internet and their phones and everything that, and it has to happen fast. Like, it has to attract their attention. And so what the Meaning of Life video series does is it takes 5-minute segments
Hmm.
And it basically takes you through the main messages of the book.
Gotcha.
It adds a little bit because the book doesn't treat spirituality and how that complements our understanding of the meaning of life. But basically, it presents it in a somewhat more possibly way that young people or anybody can view it. It's, if you sit and also, by the way, the website has a blog which has about 50 posts that I created over the last 3 years, which again expand on the ideas in the book and clarify and present some additional thinking that supports them. So, and of course, that came from what I did before I wrote the book.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Well, I think
okay,
it's great that you have the videos available as well and the blog because, like you said, a lot of people consume their information nowadays not by reading but by watching. So
yeah.
you'll broaden your reach for sure. The book we've been exploring today is called Discovering Life's Purpose. It's written by a terrific author. His name is Del H. Smith, and the website is delhsmith.com, correct?
That is correct, exactly.
Correct. And this book is a thought-provoking book. It takes readers on a journey from atheism to fervent Christianity, challenging conventional religious teachings with fact-based arguments. So if you are a Christian, this book will affirm your faith. If you're a ashes and palm Christian, as we talked about before, or C&E Christian, where it's Christmas and Eastern only, perhaps you'll get new vigor in your faith after looking at these very logical arguments and reasonings that Del makes. Del, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
It was a very great pleasure talking to you, and I wish your readers the discovery of their life's purpose.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's what we're all here for, to find out what it's all about. And I think
I
your book
think
is a
so.
useful guide for sure. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.